See if it's working. Awesome. Thanks guys for joining me. We're basically going to do a sample of a mastermind call today. And so the format is going to be, we're going to share some wins, and then we're basically going to share some challenges. And then Gina Radseller is going to be in the hot seat today. She's going to present a problem, maybe a little bit about organization. And then we're going to basically, Fonda and I are going to ask Gina questions about the problem for about 10 minutes without offering any advice. And then Gina is going to actually turn off her video and her volume and just listen to us discuss the problem for 10 or 15 minutes so she can't get in the way of herself. And we can talk about the problem in more detail. Then we'll come back and join the three of us together, and then we will talk about it and hopefully discuss some things that we want to work on for next week. And the idea of this is to meet with the same people every single week forever. And I got this idea basically, I mean, it's not new, it's the concept of a mastermind, but I joined one last year, and there are these 7 guys that they had met every week for 7 years. And the average income of the guys is $1 million a month. Like staggering. Like when they first started, they were just friends. And then they basically, the goal is to improve every single week and not worry about anything other than this week. So that's the purpose of everything, and try to keep it in focus, not worry about it. They all started as like struggling families, and now they're like mega people. And one of those guys is Dave Ramsey. So that guy is huge now. But anyway, this is the concept of continuous improvement is where we want to go here. So we're going to do it in, I guess, alphabetical order for wins. And then we'll go into some challenges, and then we'll get into the hot topic. So I'll go first to just talk about wins. Just briefly, I do have 2 fully trained employees now. So I'm very excited about that. Last week, I spent pretty much the whole week talking to them. So I'm hoping that both of these stay-at-home moms can do about 250 to 500 listings per week. And it's very interesting because they don't do it at set times. So that's very interesting to me, because I thought it was going to be like they're going to do bust out a certain amount every day, but it's not like that because their schedules are not like that. So it's nice knowing, I guess a win for me is understanding that they're not a win for me is knowing that it's not all going to be done like consistently every day. It's just going to be when they have time. And I think that that's going to be good. And it works out for them and me. So I'm pretty happy with that. So let's go, Fonda, you're next.
When I would probably have to say my inventory is becoming more organized. Because I looked at your shelves and I got the containers and stuff. So it's easier for me to find things, which makes it it makes my back not hurt as much because I was bent over so much. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm able to find things faster, which means I can spend time doing other things besides looking in bins. So I think that's a win for me. Awesome. I'm thinking about expanding and getting more storage space.
Awesome. Gina, any wins?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she beat me to it. It's my inventory. And I actually totally copied your inventory system, and I spent this entire past week working on it. I had I think around like 350 items in my store already active that I had to convert over. And pretty much at this point, I'm almost done. They're all like shipping ready and completely organized. Like it's like a crazy step up from what I was doing. And it took hours. It took like 3 full days, but it's almost done.
Awesome.
It's a big accomplishment.
No, it's hard to convert inventory systems. I still have items on the old system that I just have been too lazy to convert because it's like, yeah, but yeah,
it was a big expense to have. Like I had shipping supplies, plenty of shipping supplies, but if you have to think like right now, do I have enough shipping supplies to pack every single active item I have? Mm-hmm. Most people probably don't. Like right. I had to, it was an expense to switch it all over, but it's worth it.
And I was on Bonafide Hustler's show. Every single one of his items is prepackaged. So
I know.
it's crazy.
And he has like bric-a-brac type
Yeah,
stuff,
he
not
has
just
huge
clothes.
items. Yeah, like a lawnmower. Everything is like straight up already boxed. That guy is very organized.
I know he like disassembles bikes and packs them
Yeah.
up, and I have mainly clothes.
Mhm.
The last part of my inventory that's not converted over is like a small box of like mugs, plates, like random stuff. I'm like, I don't really know what to do with this stuff. It doesn't fit into this system as well as the clothing.
Yeah, no, and that time where you shift from selling different items, I'll just go into that as my challenge. I'm having a hard time deciding on what categories to sell. Clothing is super easy, but it doesn't sell as fast as other categories, like video games or bric-a-brac or electronics. Those sell much faster, but every single one's different. Every single one requires testing, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. So I'm trying to figure out a system that have different areas that are different types of items. So I'll have to make that a little bit more uniform, but I'm wondering if I just decide to sell more clothing, if that's actually faster than getting items that sell faster but are more difficult to process. So
Yeah, like the trade-off, what's better.
and then also clothing. This is the slow season from now till September. Is the two slowest quarters for clothing. So first quarter, and I started in fourth quarter, and it was like really easy, and that's really just because that's when people are shopping.
I started in the fourth quarter too.
Mm-hmm.
And this past month, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
I did well this past month. I don't know.
Yeah, and everybody says it's different.
Yeah.
You could come up with any reason in the world of why it's slow,
Mm-hmm.
you know, spring break or summer or whatever.
So Fonda, what are some challenges that you're going through right now?
Having enough help. Well, I don't have any help. So I'm trying to balance because I don't have kids. So I'm trying to balance my school because I'm in an MBA program.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to balance schoolwork and try to make sure that I'm posting and listening of things so I can keep the income coming in. So that's mainly my challenges, is being able to balance everything and do everything by myself.
Gotcha. What are you doing? Are you doing anything for time management right now? Like, are you keeping track on a journal, or how are you?
No, I just, whatever I feel like doing. I try to make sure I just try to make sure I do something every day that gets me towards where I'm trying to go. So right now, like today, I'm trying to, because Sundays, I'm normally not even here at this time, I'm sourcing. But I'm like, I keep bringing in all this inventory, and yet I'm still behind on trying to post things that I already have. So I just decided not to go and to stay home and focus on trying to list, trying to get things measured, pictures, and then list.
Awesome. I might try an idea this week for time management that I got from Emma and just another seller. So she basically writes down everything she does in a notebook and then highlights them: red for not necessary, yellow for family, and then green for make money. And she's just trying to remove red and put it in the either family or make money. And that's a cool idea. I never thought of color coding it like that, because I've written down things that I do, but I don't know what to do with that list. So
I want to try that. Smart idea.
So that might be some homework that we can do. So next week we'll follow up with each other, and let's try that as like homework. Let's write down what we do and then color it red, yellow, or green. Try to remove some stuff and add stuff. That's a good efficiency idea.
It'll be debatable, like what is in red and what is not.
Yeah.
in mine.
I think people forget the yellow part, which is family. Like you want to. That's
I don't have anybody here, so
my yellow will be huge.
Yeah, I wouldn't have any yellow.
Where do you guys live, real quick?
I'm in Georgia. I'm in Savannah.
I'm in Arizona, Santan Valley. It's like an hour or two outside of Phoenix.
Gotcha. And I'm in Oakland. I'm in California. So let's get now into the next section, which is the hot seat. So Gina, you're going to present a problem or just an idea, and then Fonda and I are going to continue. We're going to ask you questions to help open up the problem and try to understand. And then we're not going to give any advice for a few minutes. So go ahead and present something that you're working on.
Okay. So my significant other, he quit his job last week. We are like two ships passing in the night. Like we never see each other. And we had been talking about for like a month, a few weeks, me training him on some things. And with him working, with me working with our kids, the training was never going to happen until he actually just quit his job. So he did that, and he's been home for a few days, and we've just been converting all the inventory over. But now that that's almost done, it's now just like the day having a helper. And I'm not in management. I've never had employees to manage. And I'm not, like you were saying, I'm not super organized. I need to do that red, yellow, green, like time management. I'm not sure what to even train him to do. I know you have employees listing. I wasn't even planning on having him do listing, but I need help organizing or like managing his time of what he's going to do for me. And because right now I'm just kind of like, when you get a chance, can you measure that pile of clothes? Like, when you get a chance, can you do this? Like, I don't know. I want to have a structured, plan for my helper, which I have really no idea where to start. And I feel like if I don't have it structured, way, way, way less is going to get done.
That makes sense.
So
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you consider measuring as part of your prepping process?
For the first like 6 months, I really would only measure like half of my items, and I would get questions all the time about measurements. I wouldn't be able to reply for like a couple days later. I wouldn't get the sale. So I finally decided to measure every single item. And since I'm not used to doing that, it's been this kind of like this snag where it's not a job I was used to fitting into my schedule. So I've just been like, oh, I have a helper now, measure this stuff. And I like to have it measured before I go to list. That's usually like the last thing. I've done the photographs and all that stuff, and I'll have piles of stuff that need to be measured. And I guess it's something I don't like to do. But like, I've brought piles and piles of clothes with me to work and measured for hours while I'm at work. I work overnights at a rural hospital. So sometimes I have a whole shift where I'm just there doing nothing. So I don't know. None of this is organized. But the measurements is kind of like slowing me down now. Including all measurements on everything is slowing me down. Gotcha. Did that answer your question? I don't even know.
It does. And I'm trying to get an idea. Okay, so what's your least favorite part of the process?
Listing.
Okay, listing. That's fair.
But I haven't really, I'm trying to give him baby steps. So I'm not sure about having him list, but he's capable. Like, I could teach him to list. I don't know. What's the best thing to have your helper do?
Well,
we'll go over advice in a second, but go ahead. This is more questions.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right. Fonda, did you have a question?
No, I was going to give a suggestion, but you said that was going to be
Is there any, has he watched you do everything from start to finish? Ship, list, prep, photograph?
I don't think he's ever seen me do a listing. I do them on my phone. He's sat with me and done shipping. That was something I was kind of telling him is like, once you get your bearings and you figure things out, maybe you can put items into inventory, pull items from inventory, and do the shipping is kind of what I was planning, only because I felt like that would be the easiest thing to teach him. But the thing I mostly don't like doing and don't want to do is listing, but I was just going to continue to do that. But I'm not sure. I see people have helpers for their listing. Maybe that's what I need to do. I don't know.
So do you have...
because the thing is... Oh, go ahead. Oh,
do you have like goals or any type of goals that you set for yourself every day?
I do. Not daily goals exactly. And I hate putting stuff like, I guess I hate to like fail at my goals. So it's hard to put stuff in concrete because sometimes I'm like, I want to list all the photos I have on my phone, I want to get those all listed today. And by the end of the day, just something happens. The other day I spent like 3 hours cleaning my son's room, because when I went to go get him up from a nap, he had taken off his diaper and made a mess everywhere. Like, that was not planned in my day.
Sure.
It took hours out of my day, and the listing goals I had did not happen. Like, so I find it hard with my kids to like set goals. I'm afraid to set goals that I think I might not achieve. But I do want to, I just upgraded to a premium store. And so one goal is I want to use all of my listings this month.
So what about, do you have something that you can see that keeps track? Because since you don't do goals, you have something that you could visually see that shows your progress, so that'll let you know that you're working towards something?
I guess my death pile is getting smaller. That shows me that like the needle is moving a little bit. But that's one thing I actually wanted to work on, because I go on Instagram a lot. And so for the first like 6 months I was selling, I wasn't in a part of any sort of community, wasn't communicating with other sellers. I was just like alone. I joined Instagram and I see everyone posting their goals, and like, they have their sales goal, and then at the end of the month they post that they met it. And I'm not good at making concrete goals. Sometimes I don't even know what's realistic and what's not realistic. But that's actually something I wanted to work on, was having more concrete of goals.
Let's see. Why do you want to be more organized?
To be more efficient, to make more money, to get more done.
Okay.
If I'm more organized, then more gets sourced, more gets listed, more gets sold, and more money gets made.
Awesome. So I think, Fonda, do you have any more specific questions?
No.
We're going to go into the next section now, where on the bottom left, you can hit mute and stop video, and make sure you can still hear us. I think she can still hear us. Okay, so Fonda, we're going to discuss some things that we think she can do, and just go from there. So what do you think are some steps that she can do right now?
I think that she could probably come up with just like a standard list of what she wants her employee to do. So that way she can start moving towards something. I think if she does that, she can make better use of his time. So that's one of the things I think that she can do. And to help get him there, I was thinking that maybe she could create like a template that's based off of how the listings look on a laptop. And then she could possibly have him fill that in with the different listings that he's doing. So that way he can get used to or have an idea of what to put in the listing. Or maybe she could have like a mock template that he could see, something like that. That's what I'm thinking.
I agree. I think that a list of responsibilities is definitely the first thing. And that just comes down to, it's buying, it's prepping, it's measuring, it's listing, it's sorting, it's also shipping. And I think what happens is, like, you don't need to go directly into an organized system. What you can start with is just an assistant when you're doing things. So have a scheduled time if you can. I know it's hard with kids, but maybe like when the kids are at school, or a specific time you set, like from 6 to 7 a.m., you're going to observe me and be an extra hand. Because I think if you shadow somebody in each station, you should be able to come up with roles. And ideally, there would be some responsibilities that she does and other responsibilities that he does. Like I know Nicole State, I think Joe State does all the shipping and she does all the listing and all the photographs. So they divide the responsibilities. That I think is easier than having everybody do everything.
Yeah.
Let's see here. And then she said that she's having a little bit of difficulty creating goals. But you made a good point that she needs some kind of direction so she can see the improvement.
And I don't know if you've seen my thing that I do. I have like I just created like this. I'll get it. I'll show you.
Okay.
It's just like a basic piece of paper. Just a basic little sheet that I made, and it has listings, well, numbers, and
That is awesome.
I started April the 17th. I started March the 17th, and I'm trying to have by April the 17th, which is a month, 300 listings, and so I have it on the back. That's 300. So this keeps, because I try to set goals every day and it doesn't work. So I just try to do things to make sure that I'm working towards my goals. And then I keep like this little postcard of how many listings I do and per each day. So that kind of lets me know I'm working towards my goals. So maybe she could do something like that.
That's a great idea, because then if you miss a day, you don't get too worried, because you can sort of see how you can catch up.
Yeah.
If you have that. I like that idea a lot. Where do you put that?
I have a board that's over on one of my walls, just like a little tack board.
Okay.
So I put that over there.
Because I don't do that. Like most people who are really successful have a visual scoreboard. Like they can just look from where they are and see where they're at. And I don't have that either, but that would be awesome if you could just look up and have an idea of where you're at. I like that. It's like a scorecard.
Yeah.
They'll see where you're going. Perfect. Let's see. So a scorecard would be good. A list of responsibilities, maybe a template, maybe some shadowing. And then, I think that's good. So Gina, go ahead and come back. You can come unmute and start your video again.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? I'm back.
Yep. So how was that?
It was good. It was helpful. And I was taking notes. It was very helpful. And I actually tried something like that. I have this right here where I had decided to try to do 10 listings a day and 3 listings on Poshmark a day. And I was like Xing them out. And I don't like not meeting my goals. So when it started getting where there was tons of stuff that wasn't X'd out, I was like, this isn't working. And I stopped doing it. But I think what I did wrong was setting the same goals for all 7 days of the week and not taking into account that I work certain days and have certain more responsibilities on other days. So I was thinking when I was listening to you guys is like, I need to, if I'm going to do like daily goals, I have to consider the day. Like, well, what else is going on that day? But that was
weekly. You can do weekly goals instead of daily, since your week isn't, since your time isn't consistent throughout the week. And maybe just do weekly goals, and that way you can say, well, it's almost Friday and I don't have, such and such list.
It's Friday and I haven't done anything. I need to do it all today.
Yeah, I think that might work.
I think that's right. I think I'm going to try it again, but I'm going to tweak it like with some of your guys' ideas.
I'm going to try.
And also when you were talking about Nicole and Joe State, and that's kind of what I was thinking about with him doing the inventory and the shipping. I'm like, well, that's what Joe State does, and he doesn't have to worry about keywords like on women's clothes that he doesn't know when he's trying to list and stuff like that, because I think that would be my significant other. I keep saying significant other. We're not married, but we've been together for 8 years and we have 3 children. So just to let you know that, so it's not just like my random boyfriend or anything. But
that's close enough to marry.
I know, but I feel so weird when I say husband. I feel like I'm lying because we're technically not married, but he's pretty much my husband. So I just, I was thinking to divide it almost the same way as them, just like copy. And I feel like I do that a lot. I just copy people. I saw your inventory system. I said, I'm doing that. I just copied it. But I was thinking of dividing it the same way they do. It seems to work for them, but I don't know. I just wasn't sure.
I've seen systems where like there's another podcast called Scavenger Life where the guy takes the photos but doesn't do, and he writes the descriptions. So it's kind of like ideally you would both do something that you like or are more prone towards But yeah, it's good to copy people's models. Not copying because you're not going to be taking the entire thing anyway. You're just going to be picking things you like from them.
What you want from it.
I listen to Scavenger Life. They're really good. And yeah, the wife does like most of the research, and they have such random crazy items, and she does all the research and stuff. And he never does the research on anything.
Mm-hmm.
I took some notes. Oh, so I liked your idea of, this is almost the way it's been happening naturally, is that he's kind of just shadowing and being a helper. But that's, I don't want it to keep going like that forever, where when I need something done, I have to say, helper, please do this. Like, I want it to eventually be where like, I don't need to direct every single activity and, make sure things are getting done. But like right now it is kind of just like having a helper that I have to direct everything. So that is kind of what's happening.
Has he sold anything of his own on your store?
Not exactly. When I first started selling, I cleared out his closet of anything he didn't want. I took video games he didn't want. I basically went around the whole house and got everybody stuff that they didn't want, and I sold it. So I'd say like, hey, those pair of jeans you didn't want, I sold them for $15. And he'd be like, cool. So just like my helper isn't, an eBay fanatic like I am. He's doing it to do it for me, to help me. Not obsessed like I am, because I'm pretty obsessed at this point. But I think that just in the past week, he's gotten to see things sell. And I felt like that would get him really enthusiastic, but we'll see. He hasn't, he decided to sell, like he sells things on Craigslist here and there. And I really am no good at that. I don't do that. So he's good with doing like, if we need to sell anything on Craigslist.
I think that I'm trying to get my girlfriend more hooked on selling with me, but and the way I sort of did it was I'm having her shop on it. So she's buying things from it and seeing how people price things and whatever. And she's put a few things up now, slow, but like she now wants to do her own account, which is even better, because then if you get bit by the bug, then definitely it'll be good. Somehow you can get him addicted, or at least
the thing he didn't get bit by the bug like I did. I started reselling 7 months ago, and sometimes he's like, you've been talking about eBay for 2 hours. Can you just stop talking about eBay? So he's so supportive. Like, I'm so supportive of what you're doing. I'm glad you found something that you love to do. I'm glad you're enjoying it. But I'm not passionate about it like you're passionate about it. And he's not exactly, but he's super supportive. But it's still just, there's like, people are on different levels. Like when they're just super, super passionate about it, as opposed to just like, I'm doing this because I support you. Like, so I'm hoping when he sees some really crazy sales, that maybe he'll like get bit by that bug to where he's like taking his own initiative to like try to start selling things and stuff. It's exciting. I'm hoping that he'll get excited. We'll see.
Awesome. So let's do something here where looks like you've got a couple of things to action. Typically these calls I think work even better when there's like 5 people, because then you have a couple other people giving you feedback during that hot seat session. You get a couple more ideas on what people are working through. But for now, since we're towards the end, I just want to go over, let's just say 2 things that we can work on before we meet next week, just some homework. And then you don't want to be the person that doesn't do what they said they were going to do the last week. So like the peer pressure helps, because you already love your significant other. Letting them down is like not as big a deal as like letting your Instagram peeps down. You know what I mean? That's why people are doing this public accountability, because it's more fun and they get it, right? Because you could talk to some of us for 5 hours about eBay and it'd be fine. So that's the thing. So let's talk about a couple of things we want to do this week. Let's go reverse. So Gina, you can start.
I definitely want to have the listing goals either per day. I think per week was what I decided would be better, because like you were saying with your listers, they don't do it at scheduled times, certain amount per day, whatever. So I'm thinking like per week listing goal, starting today's Sunday, right? Starting tomorrow. I'm going to try to create some sort of listing goal for the week.
So let's try to make one now. What do you want to get done before next week?
Let's do it. Well, my store, let's see, right now I have 319 active items, and I have a huge pile of stuff to list. I would like to list like 80 items this week.
Okay.
You can do it.
You can do it.
I added you on Instagram. I followed you on Instagram so I can help you.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. And that is actually great. I think we should always have a listing goal, because that always moves the needle.
Even if you don't meet it, I've noticed that. Like when I failed at my other listing goals, I still listed more than I would have.
Yeah. Fun to go ahead.
Right now I'm sitting at 611 active listings. So I want to be to 700 by this time next week.
Okay.
Pray for me.
That's hard because the more you list, the more you sell.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the goal.
And then is there any specific things that you want to do to try to help you get to that 700?
I just want to make sure that I have enough stuff measured, and I want to work through some of my depth bins in the garage, because I have like maybe 6 tubs of stuff that haven't been listed yet or touched. So I want to get through to some of that so I can add more inventory.
Maybe try something from Rake and Profit and put one of those bins in the middle of your hallway, so you have to walk around it. So you just
oh god, that would drive me
step
crazy.
over it every time.
I'm like somewhat OCD, so that would drive me nuts.
Until you got listed. So that's an idea there. And that what you mentioned, Gina, earlier, just setting a goal, and if you don't hit it, you still get it. You still do more than you normally did. Mm-hmm. And that is why I put the goal at 10,000 listings for myself, because like that's a really, really high. And it's like, like even if I fail and I only get to 5,000, that's still a huge business.
That's still good.
So like I'm just moving towards it, and it's far. So for me, I'm at, let's see, I am at 1,660 listings. And I have, a goal of 500 listings this week. But I have 2 helpers. So it's going to be a little bit challenging, but I myself, I'm trying to give my listers the identical items. So one girl has 220 pairs of jeans. One girl has 210 men's dress shirts. They are identical. Hoping they can get in a rhythm and just really crank them out. I think you can get into.
That's smart.
One girl listens to podcasts. The other one watches TV, and they both don't make very many mistakes. And I don't know how you listen to TV or listen, or that seems harder. The podcast I understand, but they both don't really make mistakes. They just get in a groove and just keep going. So
I watch TV when I list. I bring my laptop with me to work. Like I said, it's like super slow overnight, and I'll put on like Netflix or something. I don't watch something new, like some new episode of something I need to see. I'll watch reruns of something and just kind of have it in the background. It's not that bad.
Okay. I might try that, because it's definitely more entertaining than just, I think I do too much productivity stuff. I need to start to just do some stuff to listen to. Okay.
Well,
cool.
I've noticed when I'm trying to list and I'm watching something brand new I've never seen, I'll get distracted and realize like I'm just watching this movie I've never seen. It has to be something I've already seen.
That makes sense. I know that Tim Ferriss or a lot of these productivity guys will watch the same movie over and over and over again as background noise to get like that coffee shop feel without going to the coffee shop.
That's funny.
Cool. So that's pretty much it for the format of the call. So we've got a couple of things. Well, how do you guys like this?
I think it's cool.
I like it. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that's the idea of, but you can imagine if we did this every week for 7 years, we would have some pretty huge businesses. So I mean,
I'd be driving like 4 or 5 cars.
That's right. You'd be driving a helicopter. So that's really that's what happens when you do it. And then it's also not as, we're literally doing the same thing. So with the like I was just listening to Drive Time with Dave. He has 20,000 active listings, right? So he's doing the exact same thing as us, but just different kinds of things each week.
It's nice to be able to talk to people doing the same thing, because in my everyday life, I don't actually personally know anybody that sells on eBay or that resells or anything. Mm-hmm. So when I try to have a conversation with someone about it, it's like,
what are you talking about?
Yeah. Starting from scratch, even just trying to explain what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But I got some good goals. I want to track my listings for the week. And then I think for the rest of this week, I'll have just like a helper shadowing me. And then by the next time we talk, I think I'll be ready to move past that step with my helper. And you guys can help me figure it out.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining me. And reach out to me anytime with any questions, and we'll work on getting these calls set up. And Gina, I'll also send you a link to the document, because I have a document where everyone's tracking their listings. And so not only can you put yours there, but you can see what other people are doing, so you don't feel like you're by yourself.
Cool. All
right, guys. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you. Bye.